what does that have to do with anything?
What happened to you, music?
Again?
Yep.
Twice in a row you botched that.
I'm not supposed to talk yet.
You're not supposed to talk.
You're not supposed to talk yet.
Shut.
That's not how it works.
Oh my god.
No, stop talking. Ready? Stop. Don't think I don't see your face right now. What's going on, everybody? It's the Moot Points podcast with myself, Brian Moot, and as always, my co-host Patrick Moot. But I say as always, but he's actually heading back to LA today.
Today?
Yeah, you know how it works when you record something and then you release it on a day
Gotcha.
that it didn't come out?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm late.
He's confused.
It's a few days.
He's going to be heading back to LA on Saturday to check back in with his other life. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, right?
I have another life.
Visit your dog, Bosworth.
I'm not visiting him. I'm getting him.
Getting him? Are you bringing him back to Atlanta?
Oh, hell yeah.
Then he'll be back in Atlanta. I don't know yet. He'll be back in Atlanta in the next few weeks because we got a bunch of stuff coming up. We're shooting some sketches with the Hawks, and he can't afford to be in LA for too long. Unless something huge happened in LA.
Literally can't afford it.
There's
There's more
true.
money here.
There is, well, I don't know. Is there? I mean, there's some huge jobs
there's
in LA.
no money there, so there better be
Well,
money
that's true.
here.
I guess in comparison, when you look at what places you're making more money, I guess you're absolutely right. In LA, there's nothing for you in LA.
I talked to my commercial agent today, and they're aware I'm coming back, so they're going to get me out there.
Whoa.
Try and be the face of some awful product.
Are you excited?
I couldn't be more thrilled.
What's the worst commercial you've ever done? And I have two questions for you. What's the worst commercial you've ever done in terms of product? Like, what product are you least proud that you did a commercial for?
That's tough, honestly. I want to say Pizza Hut just because it's gross.
Because Pizza Hut's gross?
Yeah. It's a Hot Pocket commercial. I know there's at least one in there that I really can't stand. I can't remember what it is, though.
Well, I'll let you sit on it. Next,
Yeah,
let
me sit on it.
When you get recognized in a commercial, are you happy about that? Because I know you've been getting recognized in that Firestone commercial a lot lately.
Oh, when I get recognized, like when people I know see me in a commercial,
or people you don't know. Has that ever happened where someone's like, "Oh my God, you look just like this guy in this commercial"?
It doesn't happen like that because you're not watching a commercial like, "Oh my gosh," like for people's performances, trying to remember them. It happens in front of you. And you're forced. It's like seeing a coworker that you've never talked to out at a bar. It's like you're not gonna if you work in a big office, you're not gonna go over and be like, "Hey, from accounting, right? We've never talked.
You had a dog named Kevin."
So what usually happens is people will be like, "I know you from somewhere," and I never like to lead with the whole, "Well, I'm an actor, so."
There's a surprise. Well, I mean, okay, hold on. Finish that
every
statement.
time I do, so I'll be like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe this, maybe that," and then finally, if they're like, "What do you do?" I'll be like, "I'm an actor," and they'll be like, "What have you done?" And I'll say commercials and be like, "Oh, that's what I've seen you in." That's the way I want it to happen. Never happens like that. Either they've never seen me before, they don't know where I'm from, or I'm like, "Hey, actually, funny you say that you recognize me. I am in commercials, actually." And they'll be like, "No, that's not it." "Oh, wait, you're Brian's brother." That's right. And I'll be like, "Ooh, yeah. I'm the one that's a dick."
Yeah, that's happened to a few people I know where people that are moderately famous and they're used to being recognized on their own, and then they'll be in Atlanta and they'll be like, "Oh, you're Brian's whatever. You're Brian's friend.
Yep.
I saw you in an Instagram video." It's
that's called being Atlanta famous. Because
man.
if
being any kind of famous is all right.
With Brian, then you're Atlanta.
Being any kind of famous is all right. I'll take it anytime. Sure. Now, second question about getting recognized in you. You did a movie called Unhung Hero, which I'm sure a lot of you who listen to the podcast have either heard about. We've referenced it in passing before, but we've never really talked about it. Do you want to explain it, Pat? The movie Unhung Hero. Or do you not want to explain?
Why are we going down this rabbit hole? We can. It's fine. We can explain it.
Because you've been recognized in that. I've also been recognized in that as your brother. I've gotten heckled on stage with it. The fact that you're like, "Hey, you're Unhung Hero's brother," and I'm like,
right.
"Yep, that's right. I am Unhung Hero's brother." That's funny.
Well, it's funny to heckle you because the content of the movie is that I become insecure about the size of my penis, and so I go around the world trying to find a way to make it bigger.
I mean, if you need a reason to travel...
The insecurities are real, but it is a mockumentary.
It's a hell of a reason to travel, though. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people go on vacations to unwind. You're trying to wind it up. You're trying to
get wound.
Wind it way up.
That's funny because there's actually this tribe that, winds it up on a stick.
I know, I saw the movie, and they yanks
it out. Yeah.
It's like...
you can see that on Amazon and iTunes.
And then there's
for rental.
There's also... You should see it. It's on...
it's dope.
It's on iTunes.
It's really good if you're not me.
Yeah, it really kind of did a little damage to your career for a while in terms of like your marketability.
It made it harder to do commercials because they'd be like, I'd be at a callback and be like, "Are you the penis guy?"
Well, the problem is that if you
I'm not. I just look like that handsome devil.
The problem is that if you Googled you, like Patrick Moote, as most producers do,
SH
the
Storm.
first picture that comes up is like you peeking around like a penis statue in Korea with a guy like has his hand wrapped around his junk, and you're peeking around like, "Hey, what's up over there? How you doing? Why'd you Google me? Are you interested in this?"
Yeah, that's right. That actually wasn't a real Korean. It was obviously it was a statue of a Korean man holding his penis.
Oh, didn't I say statue?
In a line of about 15 statues of
the
Korean
Koreans
men
are creeps, man. About their wiener creeps.
I know.
I don't know about the North Koreans, but the South Koreans are super wiener creeps.
I mean, it's probably fair to say that their wiener creepiness has turned them into isolated shut-ins. They're like that guy who's like a chronic masturbator who won't leave his mom's basement.
He doesn't want to go.
They're
to the
so
outside
creepy.
world.
They're like they know. Like people can't see this kind of creepy. Come on, guys.
North Korea strikes me as a sexually frustrated area because
yeah.
they seem so quick to whip out the rockets. Like we're gonna blow you up. It's like, dude, just if you were getting laid on the regular, I don't think that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be so wound up.
You wouldn't think that you'd be.
They're wound pretty tight.
So rocket happy. I just said on the regular too. At least I didn't say on the reg.
I was gonna say if you're gonna say that,
on
you probably should say on the reg because then it sounds like you're trying to be ironic.
I'm too old to say on the reg. I'm a grown man.
That's what could kind of
I'm a
make it
grown ass
funny.
man.
No. I was gonna say no shoot Sherlock. I can't. I don't want to.
Well,
swear.
we try not to swear, but then again, if I play that Drake song later on in the show, so later on in
Battle
the show,
raps.
We've got you guys liked our diss track breakdowns of Charlie Puth's Attention versus Tupac's Hit 'Em Up. So we got this week. We're gonna do Taylor Swift's Dear John about John Mayer, a John Mayer diss track versus. I think we're gonna go Drake's 0 to 100, or maybe if you guys aren't opposed to awful language, I'm not opposed to going. Ice Cube's Benedict Arnold, which is
It's a tough one.
Yeah, which is a pretty hard.
I don't think you can listen to that song. If you tried to censor that song by beeping it out, I think it would. It would sound like an ear test.
I think the Ice Cube NWA battle beef raps were so violent and so foul. The Drake one is too. In the first 3 lines, he's like 9 of the words in 2 sentences are all like awful swear words. So it would.
Okay, but wait. So in the Drake one, is it? Because this is what I got to know. Is it what are we calling these?
Battle track, dude.
Battle
Diss
track.
tracks.
Okay, diss track. So is it a diss track to like another rapper?
Yeah, it's Meek Mills. He hates Meek Mills.
Who's Meek Mill?
He's another rapper.
Why would you call yourself Meek?
Meek Mill?
Idiot.
I don't know. Don't ask me.
Idiot.
You could probably Google it if your computer right in front of you. You could find out the origins of Meek Mill's name.
I could beat Meek at battle rap.
So yesterday, we had one hell of a pool day out here in Atlanta, Patrick. This is the hard part about living in this building in Atlanta where I live, is that the pool is amazing, right? The L of Buckhead has a beautiful pool. It's got fountains. That's one of the reasons why I wanted the apartment. It's a little bit overpriced. Or not overpriced, it's just expensive. And the reason I wanted to get it is because I've never had a pool in my building before. And this one has like little fountains that shoot into it and lawn chairs that lay in the water like it's Las Vegas or something. And here's the problem, though, living in this building is that all my friends in this building right now currently are either self-employed or unemployed.
Yeah.
Right? So
love it.
So then on a day earlier this week, like on Wednesday, there's a big, like everyone's at the pool all day just drinking and floating around, and I have to work after the radio show. I have to do a bunch of other stuff for this syndication thing that I do where it's called Tough Love with Siri, which is on like 160 radio stations in the country where I just make Siri be a jerk to people. And then I got to do all the audio cutting and writing for all that, and that takes hours. And then, they're all whipping out margaritas, and I have maybe one of those, but I can't get too sauced up because I got to cut audio and I got to bleep her swearing at everybody, and that could go poorly. So it's like I feel like I live in Neverland right now. It's just a bunch of grown-ups who refuse to grow up, and they all just all day long want to drink margaritas and float around a pool on a sunny day.
Excuse me, Pot. When you're done calling the kettle black, can I get in here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
So here's the thing. Being unemployed has its upsides. There's everybody who's been unemployed, which because you've been there. You have your friends who have jobs, like they're always coming in the door and like loosening up their ties and looking all frustrated because you sat on the couch, went and got lunch, then we went for a hike at Runyon Canyon, and then we came back, and then we played a little basketball, and then we got happy hour.
Yeah, but
and then we're back, and they're coming home from work, and they're all frustrated.
Which friends are you talking about that I had that would go to work?
I mean, see, but I'm saying
I didn't have any of
you
those.
didn't
I lived
work,
in a building
but you
full-
didn't work also. So you've been on that side.
Exactly, but I haven't been on the side where like one person in the apartment has a job and everyone else is sitting there like staring at Sports Center in their basketball shorts. I've been on the side where I mean, when you're a comedy, you work for yourself. I didn't say you're unemployed. I said you're self-employed.
No, I know. I get it. I'll call myself unemployed. When I'm not sitting at the computer actually doing work, I am technically unemployed in those moments.
When you just take one little break?
Yeah, unemployed.
So you go through periodic, you lay yourself off at periods during the day?
Sometimes
and collect
I need to be laid
unemployment
off.
by the pool.
I quit the project and go to the pool. Start a new project called Pool Project.
All right. Well, coming up on the show, we're doing the diss track breakdown. Pat's also going to do a draft for a new world war. I don't really know what that means.
I just came up with it before we started.
You can do that.
Like, wouldn't this be funny?
I'm going to play him some hilarious commercials that I heard today on The Burt Show. And he's never heard him, and I want him to laugh at him. And some of you guys who haven't heard him, if you don't listen to the radio show, but you listen to this podcast, you've heard him. Oh, you haven't heard him. But if you have heard him, you'll laugh again because they're really funny. But the next, I want to talk to you about an article that I read the other day.
I'm happy for you.
Remember this song?
Alanis.
I wish nothing
This is our musical intro into our
The
song.
Morissette variety.
for you both.
There we go, Alanis. Let him have it.
Not taking it.
Let's talk about feminism, Pat.
March.
Aren't you excited to talk
Yes.
about feminism?
I am, I guess. I didn't know that's where we were going with this, but yeah, of course I am.
Well, I know. I
love-
surprised you with it.
I love women. And,
Doesn't this just get your girl power hard going?
dude, she's empowered.
She had quite an edge to her. In fact, I think this is called Jagged Little Edge. Oh, yeah? What you here for? What are you here for?
To remind you, dog. Yep.
Of what? Of what, Pat?
The mess you left when you went away.
You know what she's talking about in this song?
No. Is this a battle diss track?
This kind of is a diss track.
I'm telling you.
Man,
See,
I guess you made a good point. A lot of music is diss tracks. That is a diss track.
It's
one of the
not.
old ones.
It's not. See, I have a different definition, but we'll get to that when we get there.
That's against Dave Coulier, Uncle Joey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Uncle Joey.
No.
They were together, and then he like burned her, and she wrote that song about him.
I thought for a second there you meant he actually burned her. I was like, oh, that's
He
so
burned her
NFL.
with like
That's so NFL of him.
Oh, like with a cigarette lighter.
Yeah, something like
Get
that.
over here.
Yeah, come here. I'm Uncle. Cut it out. Burn.
So I read this article. It was in BuzzFeed, and it was about feminism now versus feminism in like the 60s. And
I know this is going to get us in trouble. I can't even imagine how.
Why would this get us in trouble?
Because
well, here's the point.
we are informed femininists. Let's talk about it.
I would say like I'm not an extreme feminist, but I believe in equal rights and
I'm extreme.
feminist causes. I almost said
Yeah.
feminine causes. Feminist causes. So the idea was this: is that back in like the 60s, feminism was all about like protesting for rights and for a cause, and there was like to change something, like a social trend to change something to get more rights. And now feminism has turned into just bitching about PC. You know what I mean?
Yep. Sure. Don't say bitching. I'm telling you.
Why,
we're-
bitching about?
we
No,
don't-
I'm not saying I'm not saying I believe this.
Sure. Okay.
I just
Gotcha.
wanted to bring up a topic that makes you
I'm
super
I'm
uncomfortable.
going to be the PC police and try and keep us from going in a direction where we could.
complaining. Who's going to get mad at us? I didn't say anything wrong.
I know. No, I know.
I'm just bringing up. This is not my theory. This is not my theory. But it's all about how back in the day it was for to change things, and now it's just to complain that people are shaming me, like I'm being body shamed. I'm being
Objectified.
Being objectified. I'm being harassed.
Not being taken seriously.
So is that-
I don't make as much money as men.
So there's a lot of feminists who were part of those change movements who look at the like people who identify as feminists now, and they say like, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like you're not changing anything. All you're doing is getting on Instagram and complaining with a meme that's like, you know, like I'm better than that. You can't just do this to me.
Empowering yourself with a twerk video.
With him, yeah. Well, see, but that's such a bunch of like the internet is just a wasteland of hypocrisy.
Hashtag blessed. Hashtag.
Well, do you think that has points? Like that whole argument has merit, or do you think that there's no hardcore definition for feminism?
See, I think that there's just a difference in gender.
I just don't watch
you
you
just left me
dance
out here
around
dangling around out here. I'm literally looking at the ceiling like for ways out. Like, how do I get out of this room? How many exits are there?
Why? Did you want to talk about
No.
real things?
So here's the thing: is I think people who've done something are always going to look at the people who are doing it now and kind of judge it as if they're not doing it the right way. The fact of the matter is that it's different now.
Right.
The way that feminism is applied is different. The pressures on women are different. The way that they need to express themselves and empower themselves is also going to be different. So I don't think there's one right way or wrong way. I think they should all keep burning bras, though, because girls without bras are awesome. Feminism. Brian's got me. I'm stuck. I'm on a lifeboat. I'm floating out to sea. Okay, here we go. Feminism. Let's Google that. What is it?
I just love the fact that as soon as you said that joke,
I feel like I'm on. I feel like
you were getting uncomfortable with how real your conversation was getting.
I know.
And then you
I was.
Hey, guys should tweet at Pat Moote. Should women keep burning bras to make a point?
Yes.
I agree with you. Well, I don't know if I agree with you. I don't care. Burn anything you want to. What do I care?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't matter. I think, in terms of, there's a lot of pressure on everybody these days. So I get where, I feel like we should go and march and just be like, guys are tired of being objectified too.
I mean, do you know what the Women's March was for?
Trump was grabbing, stuff.
Well, that's
grabbing
funny.
Stuff that didn't belong to him.
I think that initially that's what motivated a lot of people, but I remember that people were trying to go, no, it's bigger than that. It's like, we have wage gap differences.
All that stuff is real too. Like that, wage gap differences, there should be no difference necessarily. And I really respect all those actresses who refuse to be paid less than their male counterparts in movies. And I don't remember who any of them are. But they made a big difference.
I think Jennifer Lawrence was mad about it because she
Okay.
made way less than Chris Pratt to be in that movie. And she's
Yeah.
got arguably...
Well, lucky for them, it's got 29% on Rotten Tomatoes. And here's the deal. Sometimes you got to take feminism out of it or sexism because Chris Pratt is just wonderful. So everybody's going to get less than Chris Pratt. And that's fair.
Well,
that is fair.
Is it? Jennifer Lawrence is a star in all the Hunger Games.
But
She's
she probably got paid
Silver
the
Linings
most on
Playbook.
those. And there's that one short guy who's kind of bad.
What guy?
I don't know. The other guy who's in all of them. Pater?
I mean...
Somebody tweeted Brian.
Oh, Pater?
Yeah, Pater.
Pater.
Yeah, whoever that guy
That's
is.
an awful name.
She makes more than
Does
he
that
does.
that guy
I
get
bet.
killed? He should for that awful name.
No, he just kept surviving. It was awful.
He had such a whiny face.
I know. Well, and
Didn't he look like he's about to cry every time?
She's pretty tall, and he is absolutely not. So in every scene they are in together, it's it looks like she should pick him up and carry him in a swaddling blanket.
The more I see all this crazy political stuff, and CNN's on behind us in the apartment, and we watch every time they show North Korea, they're driving the same big rocket launcher down the road, and then you got Kim Jong-un with his ridiculous 90s haircut, shaved up the sides with the bangs, and he's always and he's a little fat guy talking, and he's and everyone's cheering for him. Do you know that when it's dead quiet, no one's allowed to talk at one of his speeches, one of his big rallies, but the people are trained to, as soon as they see him, they lose their minds.
Bonkers.
He is a member of One Direction. They go absolutely crazy.
He's the Biebs, man.
He's basically he's North Korean Biebs.
He's North Korean Biebs.
Do you think that'll catch on? North Korean Biebs? North Korean Biebs?
Yeah, so feminism anyways. Go ladies. I believe in all of... I marched. I went on a couple marches down in L.A. Support my sisters.
What I love about it is you hear the
girls.
music, which means we're moving on.
I know.
And you just were
Because
feminism.
I feel like we can't just leave that hanging out there. We just left it hanging out there where you brought it up and threw me to the wolves.
Because I wanted to.
I know. And it worked.
It's a fun thing to do. I thought I'd ambush you with that topic right there.
Equal
Because
rights for all. Especially
there's no right answer.
Rights should be so equal between everyone that they're more equal for women than they are for
the reason it's not going to be the same is because the fights aren't the same. It's changed more to PC and body shaming and image and objectification because women can vote now. And there's less and it's a shame that it's sad that had to be an amendment that women could vote. But you know what I mean? So the feminist causes are changing because they're having wins. So I feel like the woman on BuzzFeed who wrote the article complaining about it, it's you should be proud of the fact that now the fight's not over, but it's evolved.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
It's evolved to causes that a little more...
Because they've, it's
a little more 2017.
Yeah, sure. Knocking them down.
All right, Patty. Coming up after this, we are going to do diss track breakdown. But right now, you want to do a new World War draft, which seems fitting because we're talking about North Korea right now.
Yeah,
and
sure.
this might be important to know.
This is gonna be.
What do you think it's gonna be, a train wreck?
This is like what we like to call a nonsense segment, because I came up with it in my head, and it was one of those things where Brian sees me do it, where I'll have an idea and I'll think something's funny, and I'll start saying it, and as I'm saying it, I'm making sense out of what it actually means, and I then start to like try and grab the words and push them back in my mouth, but it's too late. So there's some like half cooked reject of an idea.
I mean, you threw it out there, and I was like, "That sounds awesome. Let's talk about the new World War draft."
Today,
World War draft.
We got the NFL draft this week. Got me thinking about drafting. We also have a potential World War coming up. So
I mean, it
each
could break
World
out at
War,
any
the
time.
teams like basically everybody picks sides in a World War. You know, like World War II, you had Japan and Russia and Germany and Spain, maybe.
Spain was
Mussolini, right?
I don't know.
Wasn't that movie?
I feel like no one really remembers.
He was on the wavering side, but at a certain point,
it's like
you do have to pick sides.
You know what's funny?
They're blowing up all Europe.
Let's use your sports analogy. So, and World War II. Okay, so the reason that no one remembers the other teams on that side, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
You look at last year's Super Bowl. Do you remember who?
Unless you like took Japan in like the 4th round, and then they come up and blow up Pearl Harbor.
I mean, I guess that's a really in-depth breakdown of this analysis.
Like
but they got mowed over. They were a divisional opponent that America stomped on their way to the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl would have ended up being America versus Germany, right? Whatever. You cut me off my analogy and made me go deeper. And my point is that nobody ever remembers the teams that got beat on the way to the championship,
sure.
right? So you look at let's look at well, definitely we're going to say New England is Germany. I know they won the Super Bowl, but they're just an evil team, so they're going to beat Germany. And in my mind, we're going to flip this whole thing around so that Atlanta is America, and we completely dominated them in the Super Bowl. But my point is, you don't remember the other teams that they got beat on the way. So who did New England beat just to get to the Super Bowl? That's Spain.
But here's how the draft works. Like
we're not into the draft.
You're building a team out of the countries. So they're like players. They're more like players.
Oh.
So it's like, you have your first round players, which would be like Russia, China, the U.S.
Okay.
I mean, that's about
okay,
it. Those are your those are your top tier countries for the World War.
Okay.
Like if I'm on, like we're playing Risk, I'm on one side and you're on the other. We're trying to build the biggest, the best, strongest coalition to destroy the world.
Question is, does China have a good military, or they just have a lot of people?
Tons of people.
So
but infantry, that's big, man.
You have like just endless people to throw into a war.
Sure. I think they're nuclear too.
I don't think they have any like big. I never heard about the Chinese Navy.
Look up how many countries are nuked.
You heard the Chinese Navy before? I've never heard of anyone's...
The Chinese Navy. It's just there's so many images.
I've never heard of anyone's Navy except the American Navy and the British Navy. Does Ireland have a Navy?
No.
Does
but that doesn't count because they're all part of the
United Kingdom?
Yeah,
so they got to go.
I mean, I think they have I don't know if they have a Navy. It's not like they're deploying aircraft carriers and submarines and stuff. But I'm pretty sure they have boats,
like a little green boat, with like a leprechaun, like a shamrock on the front.
Yeah, sure. All right, pull over now.
Let's get into your draft.
Look at your cargo.
Let's get into your draft because I want to break down some diss tracks.
Hang on, I'm googling something. So just
fill time. All right.
Yeah, I mean, how many countries are nuclear? Do you know?
I have no idea. But do you think that Thailand has a navy?
No.
I've never heard of
okay,
this
listen.
Thailand
There's
navy.
only I'm pretty sure the only countries that have a navy are like the U.S. I don't even know if Russia really has much of a navy. Like the Navy is.
Oh, the Russian has.
They had a navy.
They have super submarines. I'll tell you that much.
They used to.
I don't know. I learned this. I played this is kind of a cool story. I performed at a Navy base down in Jacksonville, Florida. Right. It was a submarine Navy base. And they had a few submarines, but basically their job was to monitor the entire West Coast or entire East Coast all the way down to like South America. They would monitor foreign submarines, and this dude told me that at any one time there's over 150 foreign submarines. He said there's probably 45 of them just chilling out in the ocean.
I'm actually curious
from Russia,
as to
chilling.
what countries have a navy now, because 9 countries are nuclear.
Okay, but so which countries?
So
are
we
nuclear?
got. I mean, in this drastically, like them being nuclear is like having a really good combine. It's like having a really your immeasurables were off the chart. You killed the Wonderlic. Your vertical was crazy. So there's 9 countries. Let's see.
So what countries?
United States, Russia, the UK, France, China, North Korea, India, Pakistan, and Israel.
Okay, so which?
So Israel just jumped up from probably a 6th rounder to like
how does this
maybe
draft,
even a 3rd.
How does this draft work? Because I feel like we're boring people.
So we don't have to pick right now. We're just throwing it out there. Maybe we'll make another pick because the World War is coming. So this will be a constant.
What is this? What happens when I
topic of
leave you
conversation.
home alone too long during the day?
Yeah, I think about this kind of stuff.
You think about who you draft in the World War.
I
Who's
do.
gonna be
I
on the team?
think who would be your sleeper pick though if you had to take a sleeper?
Pakistan, in terms of nuclear.
See, I'm
sleeper
saying
picks?
Afghanistan, bro. They've been fighting forever like that. They're tough as nails.
Yeah, but they're all divided right now. Sorry, dude.
That's true.
You need a unified front. Diss track time. Now, how about this for
What about
diss track?
Norway? Those are some big boys.
This is a diss track by Taylor Swift at
What?
John Mayer. Listen, hold on. Let's break it down.
Stupid.
She's mad. Her days used to revolve around him. Not anymore. Not anymore, John.
That just makes you sound like a loser. T.
I don't understand that at all.
I mean, he's a huge
Counting the footsteps?
douchebag. I know, and the floor is gonna fall through. You're rich. What kind of bunkhouse are you in? Her mom did.
Well, her mom accused her like, yo, Taylor, you're way too into this dude.
Yo, T.
You're losing your mind.
Have you heard him talk? He's a douche. Oh God, she is ruthless. This is right. This.
I mean, I am convinced at this point that you can't make a diss track about anybody unless it's rap. You can't. I mean, that's impossible. She's singing like days and what? That doesn't sound
you
mean
could
at all.
go ahead and do like you can be mean in a song. It's just here's the thing: is like if all you're doing is complaining about an ex, it's not a fight. It's not a diss. It's whining. You're just whining on a public forum. You're just crying for the world to hear.
I want
Like
attention.
it's not like Tupac and Biggie were dating and then they broke up. They had legitimate, like they actually wanted to kill each other. These two, like, well, things used to. Whoever breaks up and writes like, oh yeah, like here, you know, he was great. He was really nice. He was good at the guitar, and we're still great friends.
Well, that's funny. I guess
break.
you're right. Has there ever been a diss track between two rappers that were dating? Like,
I mean, Little Kim dated like everybody, didn't she?
did she make a diss track about him? I know that.
I think there's one where maybe it's somebody else's, but she talks about the size of a man's.
I think Nicki Minaj has got a
Man.
few good ones. Are they this good though? Are they scathing like this?
She's on fire. She's pissed.
Wait till you get to the chorus though, because she goes nuts.
I mean, like,
Oh, it's a chess game.
do you think John Mayer listened to this and was like, "Ooh, T Swift, I'll get
I mean,
you.
he's
How
kind of
dare
a-
you diss me?"
He's kind of a pansy for not replying though, right? I
mean,
you
how
got to
do you
write a
reply to
rebuttal.
this?
You have to write a rebuttal.
I feel like like you give back. I don't know.
Oh, here we go. I think she's gonna hit him with a chorus here pretty
Uh-oh.
soon.
Everybody
Here we
get the
go.
sharp objects away from John Mayer.
It's
before
it's crescendoing.
before he hurts himself. Don't leave John alone tonight because this guy's about to get his heart ripped out. But
Oh dear John.
she used his name. Shots fired.
Oh, she sees it all now that he's gone. She gets it. She gets it now.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely. You were like 17 or 18, I think. Hold on. That's creepy on John Mayer's part right there.
Sure.
And how she
With
was
some of these
19.
people too, it's like, how are you acting surprised that John Mayer's like a player and kind of,
He's
a
a legend.
womanizer? Like
I
that's
saw
his
this
thing.
happen in L.A. And I don't. This is a name droppy
I've
story.
heard this story a billion times.
I
and
know you
can hear
probably
it again.
have.
No, I like it.
So
'Cause I
we're-
don't like John
So
Mayer.
John Mayer kind of dabbled in comedy for a little while because he would go up on his shows and he'd say something witty between
People would
"Your Body Is a
laugh.
Wonderland" and some other sad song that's just written about like. See, he's writing songs to like get women. Taylor Swift's writing songs to skewer guys, which
Yeah.
I think is just a funny mentality. You just see how the mindset
is-
of a gender-wise.
Literally, that's a difference between men and women. Like
Right.
there is some sort of metaphor. Like there is some sort of direct link between the exact difference between men and women and that statement.
Every one of John Mayer's songs should just be called "Let's Have Sex."
Who's next? And then and then
Next girl up.
and T Swift should be like, oh,
How
man.
dare you break up with
no,
me?
he's dead. He's dead.
How dare you have sex with someone
He's
else?
done.
So
Who's next? And he's done.
So John Mayer, I met him a couple of times. I met him at the Comedy Cellar in New York one time, and then I met him at this, one of those like those fancy bars in LA that has no sign on the front, and you
Yeah, sure.
you just have to like know the bouncer to get in. We go to that. I'm with comedian Jeff Dye, super funny guy. He's been one of our good friends since we started comedy in Seattle.
Going heavy on the name dropping in this.
I am heavy on the name dropping. And August 4th, you can find Jeff and I at the City Winery down at Ponce City Market. We're doing a show. So mark that in your calendars. And write it down right now.
Like anybody plans that far ahead for comedy.
I mean,
I got this show.
Write it down, August 4th.
I was going to go to Europe, but I got this show at Ponce City Market.
Can't mess around. Don't miss it. And we're sitting there, and John is talking to Jeff and me, kind of, but he's talking to Jeff because Jeff is more famous.
Sounds about right.
Like at this point in time, I'm nobody, and like I'm anybody now.
That's how you know this is a real story because Brian is not making it sound cool.
I'm not
on his part.
On my part, no. I was just like I was a sidecar on Jeff's motorcycle of fame. Because John Mayer it was just after Last Comic Standing for Jeff, and he just did a special, and John Mayer was like just talking his ear off about comedy, about blah blah stand up, but he does it like his eyes are always half shut, and he's always like not really talking to you, he's just kind of talking, and he's like, all right, I gotta go, guys, and he's right like 2 feet away from us. There he goes, hold on 1 second, and he goes over to this girl, and he goes, you DTF? And she goes, huh? Like all shocked.
Whatever does that mean, Brian?
She's all shocked because like she's been kind of like standing near John Mayer for a while, and she's like just panicking, like, I don't, what? And he's like, yeah, you DTF. And she's like,
God, sounds like,
are you like, what? Which DTF means down to F.
Do it. Down to do it.
And so she looks rattled. And he goes, well, I'm going to leave in about 5 minutes. So you have 5 minutes to make up your mind.
So if you want to F.
Right, so then he comes back to us and he keeps talking, and my jaw's on the floor because I'm like, there's no way this chick is just gonna. He said no words to her all night long. He doesn't even know her name. He's like, are you down to get out of here with me and basically bang? And I'm like, there's no way this works. There's no way she takes this guy up on his offer. That just, I believe in women. I believe in women. It's not just,
we already talked about how much we support feminism.
Right. Well, I just believe that people don't like subject each other to just becoming like that. I mean, that's just so animalistic.
Even if a girl walked up to me and said that, I would be incredibly.
I'd be like a little weirded out.
I'd be way thrown off.
So, anyways.
Hey, boy, you down to get out of here?
And he's.
I don't. What are you kidnapping?
I don't remember the next 5 minutes. It was just John Mayer like blah 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 blah. Because now I'm staring at this girl, and I'm just looking at her, and she's like, you can see this internal battle going on in her head, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't let him get away
Brian's
with it.
Like about
this.
to call her dad.
Yeah, I am.
Your daughter's about to be a huge mistake.
Oh my God,
she's better than this.
I don't even know if she's trying to be an actress, but she's going about it all the wrong way. She's going to make so many mistakes.
Not mad
Get off my grass.
Just disappointed, Cindy.
Yeah. So then he gets up. He's like, all right. And he goes over to her. He's like, you ready to go? And she goes, yeah, I just got to tell my friends real quick. And I'm like, oh my God, it worked. This guy, it worked.
What's wrong with her friends? I bet her friends were like, you better go bang John Mayer right now.
I mean, for the story, I guess, right? I mean, is that a thing? Would you sleep with a celebrity even if for the story?
Here's the thing: a better question. And I'm sorry to cut off your horrible question and raise a better one.
Why is my
if
question?
You were John, if you were that famous, could you ever do that? Could you ever just be that smarmy?
I don't know.
I don't think I could. Like even if I was the most famous person on the planet, I don't know if I could just be like, hey, I would still have to kind of have some sort of, because I wouldn't want to necessarily hook up with somebody who just
was that down to roll out?
And it's I'd feel bad. I'd feel like I just objectified you.
That's an
I just
interesting question.
I just was rude and not respectful.
That's a really interesting question because
I would never want to be that famous.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think John Mayer started out that way.
I think he probably did.
No, I don't think he did. I think a lot of guys don't start out that way. But I think
an acoustic guitar party, the guy.
I mean, he's always been able to get laid, but he had to put in some work. See, I think that what happens is that he gets to a point where it becomes that easy. It becomes that easy, and it's been that easy for him for 10 years. And now he's lost all respect for anybody who doesn't just say yes.
Vagina.
Well, you know what I mean? You start to, okay, let's look at it this way.
If I was his friend and I was out with him and he did that, I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed for him and myself. I would be like,
and her, man.
Oof.
Well, yeah, he's and you took advantage of your fame, but whatever. I guess.
Sure.
But what drives guys to be famous? Getting laid a lot.
I know, but
and
you
money,
can still be,
which
you don't
is
have to be
also
a dildo.
I know, of course not. Look at it. Let's compare it to murder. All right, let's compare.
All right, I like this. Let's compare it to World War. We're going.
No, there's murder.
Straight dark,
just
with
murder.
The analogies. Yes,
murder.
Go.
Okay, so
I like it.
The first time you commit a murder, I'm assuming that's the most difficult in your mind and mentally.
It's the best one.
No. You're not following my analogy.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You kill the person, but you feel bad about it. Maybe. I mean, generally.
Sure.
But then the second murder, you might feel bad about it a little bit, but it probably feels a little bit easier.
From what I
but then by the end of it, if you've killed like 60 people, at the end of it, like you're a hitman now. You're just wham. You're like, what do you care? Wham. I don't care about that.
Desensitized.
So that's why I would look at it like John Mayer has been slaying chicks on the road for so long that now he just looks at him like. And if the girl said no, you'd be like, all right, you probably would have looked over another chick. Hey, you DTF? And you'd be like, damn. So he's just basically a hitman, desensitized. They're not even humans anymore. They're just targets.
See, when you said murder, I thought you were talking about a serial killer, which, from what I understand, with a serial killer, it just becomes more invigorating, which I don't think that applies to John Mayer. I do think that he's become desensitized to having respect for people that he wants to
I saw it happen. I know that.
Sure. So it's not that he's invigorated by being a douchebag. It's that he simply doesn't realize that he's being a douchebag anymore because it's such a common thing.
All right. And so that is and now I just want to play you the first 10 seconds of a Drake diss track. Just because every time we do these comparisons,
I don't know if I've ever heard this song.
Okay, every time we do these comparisons, I just want to. I mean,
He's too tall.
He's too tall. He's like 5'6".
Really?
Drake is tiny.
He's
Okay,
too
here we go.
short then.
What? You don't like him because he's too short now?
I guess it's his hair.
You're objectifying him.
It looks like his hair is like scribbled on with a pencil.
Being on some
Whoa.
chill we go 0 to 100 real quick.
Come right at it.
Baby on that rap to pay the bill
Yep.
and I don't feel that shit, not even a little bit. Oh Lord, know yourself, know your worth. My actions being louder than my words. How you so
Lot
down
of-
to earth. Won't do it, we can do
lot of
it on
N-words.
the turf. Oh Lord, I'm the rookie and the vet. Shout out to the bitches out here holding down the set. All up in my phone looking at pictures from the other night.
Well, that's it. That's a Drake song.
Okay,
I mean,
I
how
don't even
many-
know what he's
how
talking
many-
about. I don't have a clue what just happened there. Maybe
no
my
idea.
white guilt made me unable to
He
pay
drops a-
attention because there was a lot of that.
He drops a lot of N-bombs. I might bleep those just because I want them to be apparent how many times he curses in the first
But see, I don't
30 seconds of that
the
song.
way he kind of I would even throw. I don't know. Like, there's some. I believe that this is a diss track. I don't believe that Drake necessarily is. Like, I'm not buying it. I'm just not buying it. And I don't really know what he was talking about there. Where it's like it's almost like he's trying to use all of these different tactics to make it impossible to understand what he's actually saying. Where, like, Tupac is like, I effed your B, you fat M or F'er.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, that's
exactly.
straight to the point.
Yeah.
You know exactly what he's talking.
Well-
Like, I don't know what he was like. What was he talking?
Well, here's the
smack
thing.
about. Like, what?
He's just basically saying like
He's like, I get more chicks.
He's better. I get more
I'm
chicks.
a better
And
rapper.
Later in the song, he's like, I have more money than you.
See, but that's not.
But also, like that song,
It's like I'm rubber, you're glue.
But that's the
No,
difference.
it's
Like
not.
now, people write songs. Like now, it's a poppy type of rap where people write songs like, "Oh, this doesn't have to make sense." Back in like the '90s, every song had to
It
be
was
a
a
story.
storytelling.
Every song had to be a
Yeah.
story. Someone brought up a point.
Slick Rick, man. Come on.
Someone brought up a point the other day, which I thought was David Perdue, actually, comedian in Atlanta, super funny, who's on my show last night at the Punchline, which was amazing. I did a show.
It was
the
the best
Punchline.
show. There was like 1 million people.
Everybody
was
knows
happy.
it.
Everybody knows it.
Standing
It's
ovation.
tremendous. It was the biggest show ever. There's never been a bigger show ever.
Worldwide, people watched it on
Everybody saw
Instagram
it.
Live.
You
Everyone
were
saw it
laughing.
happen. You were laughing, whether you like it or not. So the show last night, it's every Wednesday at the Punchline. I do a show to raise money for a different nonprofit in Atlanta. So
Sounded
come
like
out.
you were
8 o'clock.
doing it for like community service or something like that. Every Wednesday night, I have to do a show to raise money.
Well, I don't have to. I want to. And it's a great show. So we had like 135 people last night. We raised money for the
Dang.
Jimmy Fund, which is a nonprofit that works to raise money for cancer curing. So David Perdue brought up a point that I think is hilarious. Comedians love to break down lyrics, right?
Yeah.
Rap lyrics.
Sure.
But and they like love to point out the humor in them. But rap lyrics themselves, like punchlines, are rhymes. Like the rhymes themselves are jokes. Like they're not real.
Oh, yeah.
Like most of the rhymes, like some Lil Wayne will rhyme something like crazy that doesn't make any sense. It's funny to him. Like he's already making a joke. You know what I mean? Like okay, let's take Skilo. I wish I was a little bit taller, right? Mm-hmm. If I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. I wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and 6'4" Impala. It's like someone's like, what do you mean? Why do you want a rabbit in a hat and a bat and the Impala? Don't you just want the Impala first?
But
it's
I think
like it's silly. It's
but
goofy.
Isn't the rabbit in the hat a magician thing?
Yeah.
Like he's going to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
He wants to make magic. Like, he just magically wants to be
that's
taller.
good.
But if you broke it down, like, verbatim, it's going to sound ridiculous.
I mean, I would say that it has gotten more abstract as the years have gone on. Because before it was like think about, what's that one song? Like, what's the one long song that goes on? Rapper's Delight.
Yeah.
Like, that is literally a story basically from beginning to end. And there's a lot of nonsense in it because that's kind of the way rapping is. But, like, take, like, Migos. Like, do you think they're telling a story? Like, is there a story in Versace that you're supposed to follow?
No, there's no story.
No.
But they're like...
It's just words.
They have a whole new style of rap, which is almost just like non sequitur, just
free association.
Statements.
It's like an improv game.
Yeah, just new drop top, hanging out with the crop top. All right, Pat. Today we played this commercial on The Burt Show.
All just get along
At the Red House Furniture.
we can.
At the Red House.
Jeez, nailing it. I like those funky
I'm
reggae
Richard,
undertones.
a.k.a. Big Head. I work at the Red House, and I'm black.
At the Red
I like pumping iron and pumping furniture into people's homes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Come on, who
I'm
else?
Johnny, a.k.a. 10 Gauge. I work at the Red House and I'm white. I like deer hunting, bass fishing, and extending credit to all people.
At the Red House.
They just don't know what to do with their hands.
I'm black and I love the Red House. I'm white and I love the Red House.
I'm a black woman and I love the Red House.
I am white, and the Red House is for me.
At the Red House.
Look at the sofa. It's perfect for a black person or a white person.
This mattress is perfect
Still
for
in
a
the
white
plastic.
person or a black person.
At the Red House.
They paid for the
where
minute
black people
version.
and
Nice.
white people buy furniture.
I mean, that's
And expanding people, too.
And all people.
that's just absolutely,
pretty good, right?
Yeah, that's just brilliant. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about that. I'm going there.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure if
I'm
that
a
one's
white
real.
person, Brian.
At the Red House.
I mean, there was so much about that was so good. And okay, so let's take that commercial for instance.
Yeah.
That is a really effective commercial.
Well, yeah, because they made it funny. And
It's hilarious.
It's like a web sketch
They spend
for
like $1 million
it's a
on other
web sketch for Red House.
So it's a web
written-
sketch. It's
It's
not
well, no, it's a commercial, but it's also like it was written by two comedians who wanted to make it fun, like because they were like, "Why don't we make this funny?" And then it trends on the internet, and then everybody's like, "Look
How
at you
many
idiots."
hits do they have?
It's like 5 million hits or something like that. 5-6 million hits. Why now you mad? You're trying to figure out a way to make
just-
web magic.
I mean, I'm mostly upset because I wanted that to be real. Like, I wanted that to be a real
Local commercial.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
I
some people who think it is, but you can just look at the tone and vibe and see. That
I mean,
it's
there's
not.
crazy, like, there's crazy local commercials. I've seen some recently. Atlanta is going hot to the paint.
Why don't you
Hard to paint.
put those down for next week?
I'll put them in.
Look, here's the MIDI version of Drake's song.
What does that mean? What does it
It means
mean?
you can play it at karaoke night.
Oh, nice. Yeah, cool. How exciting. Why would you want to sing this for karaoke night?
Real quick. Real quick. Yeah, you can't. As a white person, you can't pull this one off. Alrighty, that's gonna do it for this week's show, everybody. Tweet at us at Moot Points and at Patrick Moot. I don't know, tweet
At
whatever.
Pat Moot.
At Pat Moot.
Yeah.
At Pat Moot? You
Yeah, I
shortened
changed it all, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's at Pat Moot
now it's uniform across
Okay, he's
all
got it.
forums. I am Pat Moot.
He's all Pat Moot now. Hey, tweet at him who you'd pick first in the World War draft. Who's your number one pick? Who's your sleeper?
Who's your sleeper?
Who's your sleeper pick?
You got 4 rounds.
You know what's funny? I'm going to forget that this happened, and then next week sometime someone's just going to tweet at me.
Tweet,
North
like,
Korea.
They're going to be like North Korea, Syria,
Sleeper, Syria.
and Madagascar.
Why did my music go away?
You want to go to the gym and get huge?
I do.
All right, me too.
This is our new outro.
Yep.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Catch you later, babe. Babes.
Let's be honest, there are tons of ways to send money back home, and every company promises me the same things: good rates and safe transfers. That's why it can be overwhelming to choose a new way to send money. I switched to Remitly because I can track my money every step of the way, which means I know exactly when my mom will get her money. And with their extensive payment network, my mom can receive her money in a way that is more convenient and safe for her. You should check it out. Go to Remitly.com or download their app to get started. Remitly Inc. is a licensed money transmitter by the state of New York, California, Massachusetts, and other states.